Welcome. It's always fun to have all of our friends and colleagues here with us. If you haven't worked out, there's a lot of people from pharma, a lot of people from science backgrounds. If you were to ask, what do you think of Pfizer, you'd probably get an answer from this group. I don't think we have anyone from Pfizer here yet.
X-Files.
So hopefully you've realized there's some cheese in here, and I see that most of you have beer and wine. If you're drinking whiskey at the moment, it's open. Not a bad whiskey. After we've had dinner, we have some whiskey tasting, and we're a little bit organized this time. So you will actually have to go upstairs to get the Highland whiskies. But
Please drink responsibly and please don't fall over the balcony.
You have a car service?
So we will do a few speeches and toasts, and then after that we'll have dinner. And if you may have noticed, we don't normally have the floor here, so we've a little added feature this year. Yes, it's normally carpeted.
Yes. It used to be carpeted.
This year, it was decided that I couldn't skip the address to this fearsome animal here. So we will begin with that. Fair fire, your honest sonsy face, great chieftain of the pudding race, upon them are ye attack your place. Pinch, tripe of fair. Well are you worthy your grace as long as my arm. The groaning trenchers there you fill. Your hubbies like a distant hill. Your pin would help to mend a mill in time of need. While through the pores the dew distills, like amber bead. See rustic labour, his knife, see rustic labour dirt. And cut you up with ready slit.
Poor lad.
Trenching you, and you're gushing into like what a glorious sight. Warm, reeking, rich. Then horn for horn, they stretch and strive. Deal take the hindmost on they drive. The lull of well-swelled tight bellies, up tight like drums. As there that o'er the French ragout, or olio that would stow a sou, or fricassee, what would make her spew. What perfect scunner looks down with sneer and scornful view on such a dinner. Poor deal. See him o'er his trash, as feckless as a withered rash, his spindle shack, a good whip lash, his knife and net. Through bloody field of field to dash, oh how unfit. Mark now the rustic haggis fed. The trembling earth resounds their tread.
I gotta go home tonight,
Clap to his wily knee a knife. He'll make a whistle, and legs and arms and heads will steed like topsy thistles. He powers what mark mankind their care, and dishes up their bill of fare. Scotland wants none of those stinking wares that bodies. If you want her grateful prayer, get a haggis. ladies and gentlemen, the Haggers. So, we'd like to make sure you know a little bit about what we're celebrating tonight. So, our Piper, Jock, will give you a little bit of introduction.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome. As you can see, this wonderful meal is just absolutely magnificent. And you're all going to get a chance to eat it. And I'm in a very benevolent mood tonight. You can have my share. Anyway, Robert Burns was born in 1759. He lived a very short life. He only lived to be 37 years old. But during that short life, he wrote thousands of poems, romantic, funny, very sad poems. He went through a time of the American Revolution. His life spanned that time, and he was a very well-read man. He was a self-educated man, so he knew all about what was going on in the Americas, and loved every minute. In fact, at one time, he fell in love with a young lady. Of course, he was married at the time. He was a romantic, and he fell in love with this young lady called her Highland Mary. And he wanted to divorce his wife and marry this lady, but the girl's father said, "No way, you're not marrying Robert Burns." He was a scallywag. You know, he wrote some very bawdy poems. If you ever want to read his works, I mean, some of them were really crass, you know. but anyway, his works have been translated into more languages than any poet who ever lived, including Shakespeare, Sir Walter Scott, all the rest. The only people that don't know very much about him are Americans. But anyway, he was sitting there, just as an example. He was sitting in church this morning, and he saw a lady in front of him, and she had one of these big Leonardo bonnets on, and he saw a bug crawling up the back of her neck. Because, you know, people in those days didn't shower the way they do nowadays. You know, they didn't have the facilities. So he saw this bug crawling up. He called it a louse, we call it lice. But anyway, he sat there in the church and he says, "Oh, where are you gone? Your crawling ferry, your impudence protects you sadly. I can't say about your strength, really out of God and waste. Your faith, I fear you'll dine but sparsely in second place. You're ugly, creeping, blasted wanner, detested, shunned by saint and sinner. How dare you set your foot upon us and find a lady? Go somewhere else and seek your dinner on some poor body." It was Robert Burns. I didn't understand a word I said, but that was his dialect. Anyway, as was a custom, when people had Burns suppers, I mean, all over, you couldn't find a club anywhere in Scotland that doesn't celebrate Robert Burns' birthday, which is the 25th of January. All over the world, people celebrate. And one of the things they do is they present a toast to the lassies. So at this time, I'd like to present a toast to the lassies. Here's to the lassies, so lovely and broad. We wish them good health, faith, yin and all. May the good Lord bless them with long, happy lives, for we men folk all love them and make such good wives.
Of course, as we men folks know, there's always a response. And note that it comes after, or last, as we often think. So, with the response or reply.
So this year it falls again to me to do the response from the lassies, and of course I'm not Scottish, I'm American, but I was born in Pittsburgh, where
So were we.
So were you? Okay, and my grandmother was a Henderson, so I do have a specific tartan when I'm, if I want to choose my family So the response from the lassies, you know, it depends somewhat on what the Toast to the Lassies has sounded like, but it's sometimes faux antagonistic and bemoaning the fate of women because, you know, we have to do everything men do, but then all these other chores as well and so on. But I think those of you who know me probably know that this doesn't entirely apply to me because I don't have children, you know, and then my husband Les is really extremely organized. So I was the one who said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did more of a whiskey tasting? And oh, shouldn't the Highlands be upstairs? Yeah, so he actually made that happen. So that's pretty much how it works around here. So I think those of you maybe who've worked with me know one thing I've learned at work is I'm not the kind of communicator who's really good at advocating and selling things. I'm more of a, you know, tell it like it is from the heart kind of person. So I have to acknowledge, you know, the men in my life. You know,
Are there other?
It's called being romantic, isn't it? How they put it the other way
You know,
around?
they're you know, my various bosses. So Simon's here, and then Jim is here, and they help keep me organized and focused at work.
You don't
and
have to
whatnot.
explain why.
All the lovely people in your life who basically, you know, make being a woman worthwhile. Because let's face it, there are differences between men and women, and I think we both have our challenges and our advantages. So
She's still
anyway,
not
from
blushing
the
enough.
last
I said you're still not blushing enough. We have to work on this.
So anyway, that's nice to end. Let's just make a toast. So to the other Lassie.
Yes. So it's also traditional at this event to acknowledge various other groups. At various times it's been controversial depending on exactly who you ask to toast. I think we will skate through those processes.
Okay, so I've been asked to make a toast to those who serve. I'm not talking about the women here, you know. So my claim to Scottishness is slightly dubious because I've got a very English accent. I was born in Sunderland, which is as far north as you can get without actually crossing the border. But every day I crossed Hadrian's Wall by train to get into Newcastle to my school. So I went to Newcastle RGS for 10 years. Eventually studied chemistry, became a scientist. But I appreciate Scottishness, and I think this vote about independence will be really important for the whole of the UK, and we'll see what happens about that. I like salmon and all that sort of thing. My wife and I had a fantastic holiday in Scotland this year. Went to Lochaber, which is where my parents used to take me when I was a kid. It's right up in the northwest corner, it's Highland area, and it's a beautiful place. And the whole of Scotland is absolutely beautiful. And actually this year we had fantastic weather as well. So that's really good. Anyway, I want to talk about those who serve. So think about the people who are making the food, serving drinks for us. They're also providing electricity and heat, gas, all those things that we need to get here and to be here and enjoy this sort of time. For both of you for providing everything for us tonight, you know, that's terrific. So this is a toast for those who serve. It's also those who serve in the military, who give us freedom in our country, whatever country you come from. So toast to those who serve.
And then it's also traditional, another group. Welcome.
So I've been asked to toast the leaders. We are very dependent on all our leaders, from the president, the queen, your own down, the governor, the mayor, your bosses, and many of you are leaders in your own right, and others depend on you. And to our leaders, I wish that they would lead in wisdom. To the leaders.
So hopefully by now we will soon have dinner will appear. I'll remind you after dinner there will be some activities to here. We'll have a semi-organised whiskey tasting. That's basically more organised than previous years, but it will get less organised as the night progresses. But first is Bob Burns also Laura Grace, which is traditional, so it's non-denominational.
some have meat but cannot eat, and some would eat but want it. But we have meat we can eat, and so the Lord be thanked. Amen.
Thank you.